Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna.
Hare Krishna, we welcome all of you on the 8th day of our Gita Wisdom series, where we are going to discuss the part 2 of One God, Many Gods by His Grace Madan Sundar Das Prabhuji. So I request Madan Sundar Das Prabhuji to proceed ahead with today's session, which is the part 2 of our discussion on one God or many gods. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji, loud and clear.
Okay. So happy to be with all of you. Generally, I say so happy to see you all because I cannot see you. So I'm saying so happy to be with you all. I'm assuming all of you are there. So thank you for joining us once again for the 8th session. Interestingly, I didn't realize until Mother Dipasha said this is the 8th episode. So we have been there for more than a week. And that's a great success in Kali Yuga. So anyways, so let's start with the program with offering a prayer. And those of you who generally sign out right at the end of the program before we take question answer, maybe you can just hang on for a few minutes. I would like to just a little bit interact with everyone who are joining these programs. Om Jnanatirmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutare Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatai Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome you all for this Gita Wisdom series, and we are discussing the topic of one God or many gods. So just to do a very brief recap of what we discussed last time or yesterday, we began our discussion with understanding the definition of dharma. Dharma is not exactly religion. Religion has altogether different meaning. Religion means faith. Dharma does not mean faith, first of all. Dharma means who you are. That's your identity. It's an inseparable part of your existence. Then after defining dharma, we had a discussion about there are various religions in the world today. So why there are different religions and different scriptures? How do we reconcile? AAA formula. Ability to digest, avoid rejection, and advancement step by step. What are the differences in all these religions? There are differences based on, ultimately there is one religion and one scripture. There is one God. But the different religions and scriptures talking about different God, of course, they're talking about different aspects of the God, not different gods, is because of the difference in time, place, circumstances, and the audience. For Islam, Prophet Muhammad, the audience were the desert tribes. We saw some statements from Quran, which itself shows what kind of, what was the caliber of the people or the character of the people then. For Christianity, the audience of Jesus was the fisherman tribe. Again, we saw what Prophet Muhammad as well as Jesus Christ saying that I have a lot to tell you, but you're not yet ready. So we saw differences, we saw similarity. The foremost similarity that all says surrender, take shelter of Guru, chant the names of the Lord, love of Godhead is ultimate goal of life. Like that, they speak about there is another world called a spiritual world, and this is material world. So more or less, the principally they are in tune with each other, but details differ or vary. I would not say differ, but they vary because of the time, place, circumstance, and audience. So how do we understand the differences? Srila Prabhupada gives a wonderful example that we discussed yesterday of a pocket dictionary in comparison to Oxford Dictionary. Pocket Dictionary is a subset of Oxford Dictionary, but it does not have everything what the Oxford Dictionary have. But Oxford Dictionary have everything that Pocket Dictionary have. That's the whole point. So Vedic scriptures are like Oxford Dictionary because Vedic scriptures are the words of Lord Himself. That's an instruction. That's a guidance. There is no knowledge. The word Veda itself means knowledge. There is no knowledge that exists outside of Vedas. If anything that exists outside of Vedas, which means it's not a knowledge. That's an understanding of Vedic scriptures. And there are 4 different levels of worshippers. Just to accommodate all of them, there are different religions and scriptures. The first level of worshipper is worship out of fear, bhaya. Second, to fulfill one's desire. Third, out of kartavya or duty. And fourth, out of love. So then we discuss which scripture is there which describes or discusses in detail about the love of Godhead, how to attain love of Godhead. And we quoted various shlokas from Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, Arjuna, to attain love of Godhead is the highest goal of highest goal of life. How to attain love of Godhead? Manmana, Bhava Madhvakta, Madhyaji Mam Namaskaru, and many other verses which Lord Shri Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita. And after that, we spoke about what is the highest goal. The highest goal is done is the love of Godhead, and which scripture discusses, we also did that. Then we talked about, is Lord form or does Lord have form or a formless? We gave an example of a sun and sunshine. And then we talked about, is there one or many gods? And then we quoted how Jesus said he's a son of God. Prophet Muhammad said, I am a messenger. And all the different founders of modern day religion, either be Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism, Zoroastrianism, Judaism, you name it. Parsis, that's what Zoroastrianism is all about. Their founders never claimed to be God, but they all indicated towards God. So in their scriptures, there is a reference of Allah, Christ, by different names they call the God, but they don't have much details described about what God looks like, what God does, where does he live, who are his companions, who are his family members. Those details are not given. However, when we see Bhagavad Gita, Krishna himself directly declares, not only Krishna, Arjuna says, Param Brahma, Param Dhama, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan. Krishna, you are the Supreme Personality Godhead. And even before Arjuna and Krishna says, Sanjaya says, Bhagavan Uvacha. Even before Sanjaya says, way before this war of Kurukshetra, on the onset of which this Bhagavad Gita was spoken, almost 15 years ago of this incident, 13 years of Vanvas, and almost 1.5 years prior to this, Rajasuya Yagya had happened at Khandava 1 or Khandava Pras, which later on got the name of Indraprasth, where all the kings of the whole world had assembled, and there Bhishma Pitama declared and established the divinity and the position of Lord Shri Krishna as a supreme personality of Godhead. Anywhere you read in Mahabharata, if there is a supreme personality Godhead, that is declared as to be Krishna. So in today's discussion, we're going to look more in details of the subject matter. Who is God, the Supreme Lord? So as you all know, the definition of Supreme Lord or God that we saw in one of the initial sessions is God means, or the Lord means, he is the supreme source, proprietor, supreme enjoyer, and supreme controller. Like this, we define Lord to be the supreme CEO. controller, enjoyer, or owner, and owner. Now, Bhagavad Gita and different scriptures talk about Krishna to be this person. Let's take a look. So today we're gonna quote several verses. So that you stay tuned. I would humbly request all of you, those who have attended, who are joining the session, to recite along with me. We cannot do follow-up because it'll take a lot of time. So we'll try to recite together, okay? This is from Brahma Samhita, where Brahma speaks. Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Ishvara Parama. Who is the supreme Ishwar? Brahma says Krishna. What is his form? Vigraha Sat Chit Ananda. Anadir, he is the oldest, he is the cause of all causes, Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the supreme, is the verdict of Brahma. In fact, Lord Shri Krishna in Bhagavad Gita himself says, I am the source of all. Aham sarvasya prabhavu. I sarvasya prabhavu. Mata sarvam pravartate. Everything exists because of me. In the material world or in the spiritual world, I am the cause of all. I am the supreme controller. Mataha parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjay. Arjun, there is no truth superior than I. I am the supreme most truth. And Krishna gives an analogy of a neck beads. Just like the thread which ties the neck beads together, Krishna says, hey Arjuna, Mai sarvam idam protram sutre maniganaiva. Similarly, I am the binding factor which keeps the whole creation together. Just like you see our planet Earth revolving, rotating, similarly, all other planets are revolving and rotating. What keeps them in the orbit? And what keeps you on your place? We are revolving at a speed of 60 times of a shot bullet. Yet you and I do not experience any shock. Law of gravity binds us with this planet. Who is the cause? What is that? Whose energy is this? What we call as law of gravity, the gravitational pull. Who is the source of that gravitational pull? That is what Krishna is saying. That is I, which binds everything together. I am the supreme enjoyer. Bhoktaram yagnatapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Surya sarva bhutanam jnanatmam shanti machati. Whatever yajna tapasya you perform, I am the benefactor. I am the Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. I am the Lord of all the lords of all the lokas, and I am the well-wisher of all the living entities. One who understands these three truths about me attains to peace. So, Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Samhita, and many other scriptures declares Krishna to be the supreme personality of Godhead. He is the supreme CEO. Is there any other definition? Any other evidence? The word Bhagavan, Van means to possess. Like we have the word Vidvan, Bhagyavan. Who possesses Bhagya, great fortune, is called Bhagyavan. One who possesses Vidya is called Vidwan. Similarly, the word Bhagavan, one who possesses Bhag. What is the definition of the word Bhag? It is given by Srila Parashar Muni, father of Vyasadeva, in Vishnu Puran, who is a compiler of Vishnu Puran. And there in Vishnu Puran, Parashar Muni describes what is the meaning of the word Bhag. He says the word Bhag means there are 6 elements into this word Bhag. And what are these 6 elements? Aishwarasya samagrasya virayasya yashashashriya jnana vairagayaschaiva Shanam Bhagatangana. The screen is a little cropped from the right hand side. Aishwarasya Samagrasya. There are 6 elements which forms your Bhaga, the word Bhaga. Aishwarasya, Virayasya, Yasha, Shriya, Jnana, Vairagya. Aishwarya refers to wealth, Vir, strength, Yash, fame, Shriya, beauty, Jnana, knowledge, Vairagya, renunciation. Samagrasya, in full. One who possesses these 6 features in full, in completeness. Sanam, Shana means 6, Bhagatangana, is said to be Bhagavan. So we all know if somebody is wealthy, naturally attractive. Somebody is beautiful, naturally attractive. Somebody is intelligent, intelligence is attractive. So different features attract. Can, what Parashar Muni is saying, only one who possesses all these 6 features simultaneously in full can only truly be called as Bhagwan. So let's do some analysis of it. First opulence of God is wealth. Of course, there are some people who are declared to be the richest man in the world. Well, fine, but how much wealth? How do you quantify that? To give an example, there was a man who was a son of a Brahmana. He was so wealthy, so wealthy, so wealthy that he built a whole city of gold. Well, he didn't build a city of gold. He usurped it from his brother. Anyone knows who I'm talking about? The great Ravana, the brother of Kuber. Kuber built a whole city of gold. Today in marriages, where a bride and groom goes for marriage, most of the bride these days, traditionally the brides will decorate themselves with a lot of jewelry. These days, they rent out a plastic gold jewelry. Hardly anyone can afford gold. And here we had Kuber, and then thereafter we had Ravana, who had built a whole city of gold. Was he really the richest person? My question to all of you is, who is the one deity who we worship for wealth? Dhana sampati ghar aave, jai jagadish hare, jai jagadish hare. I believe all of us are very familiar with this mantra. Probably from our childhood, we all have sang, isn't it? Yes or no? If yes, you've heard it, say yes. So I know we are on the same page. So, Lakshmi or Lakshmi Puja, Lakshmi is said to be the goddess of wealth, and she blesses everyone to become rich. Look, where is Mother Lakshmi? She is caressing the feet, massaging the feet of Lord Vishnu, who is not different than Krishna. We'll talk about who is Vishnu and who is Krishna in relation to each other. Brahmaji says, Chintamani prakara satma shakalpa vriksha lakshavrateshu surabhi abhipalayantam. And the third line is important. Lakshmi sahastra shata sambhrama sevyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. Here Brahmaji says, I offer my respectful obeisances unto the primeval Lord Govinda, who is served by Lakshmi, not one, not 10, not 100, not thousands, but millions and millions of Lakshmi. Lakshmi sahastra shata sambhrama sevyamanam. So who can be more rich than Govinda or Krishna? Second opulence of God or Bhagwan is described to be strength. For us to build strength, we have to go to gym, do exercises, eat nutrient food, whatnot we have to do. So much hard work we have to do. Now, of course, strength is attractive, but the strength does not remain forever. As a person becomes to grow old, the strength goes away. Take a case of Krishna, 7 years, 7 months, 7 days old, and he lifts the whole Govardhan mountain of the left hand, the tiniest finger, with the nail of it. And underneath, the whole of Brajavasis, the whole of all the residents of Vrindavan have come and taken the shelter of this umbrella that Lord created to protect all the residents from the wrath of Indra, who had become upset and was downpouring very heavily. Here, Mother Yashoda, just like any mother, became worried. My son Kana, he's holding the mountain for so long. His hand would be tired. What about his food? So Mother Yashoda began to plead to Krishna, Krishna, why do you have to lift only? What is the use of this grown-up man? Let them hold the whole mountain with a stick. You come down, let me feed you, Kana. You're hungry. Krishna said, Mama, Mata Shri, not a good idea. All the Gwalas stood up. They said, hey, Krishna, what do you think of us? We will hold the mountain. Don't worry. You come down and honor Prashadam. Your mother is worried about you. And there was Madhu Mangal, one of the sweetest Brahmana in the group of Lord Shri Krishna. And that Brahman boy said, Are, what do you all think? Do you think this is Krishna's bala, Krishna's strength is holding the mountain? He immediately removed his upper cloth and showed his Brahmanical thread. And he said, this is because of my Brahman Tejas. The whole mountain is flying on its own. Krishna, just to be the hero, he's just putting his finger. If he removes his finger hand, nothing gonna happen because it's my Brahma Tejas who's holding the whole mountain. Krishna said, "Are you serious?" Madhumanga said, "Yes, I am serious. What do you think? I am the real hero." So Krishna, just to show the reality of life, he just a little bit slided his finger, and immediately the whole mountain began to tremble. And all the koalas who had put their sticks underneath the mountain began to crack and fall apart. And everyone began to scream. They thought the mountain is going to fall and they're underneath the mountain, which means they're going to get crushed. And then everyone said, Kana, Kana, no, 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 it's only you, we believe you. A 7-year-old boy lifting a huge mountain. This is not a story about Kana or Krishna, lifting a cucumber or a mushroom on his left hand. It's a mountain, huge, humongous mountain. When Krishna was just, I believe, 3 or 4 days old, he killed a demoness by the name of Putana. So many demons Krishna killed, at least whenever he was in all his Vrindavan Leela, never ever once Krishna used any weapon. He just killed them naturally. So this is the strength of Krishna. Once a disciple of Srila Prabhupada who was learning painting to help Prabhupada print his books and make drawings for the books, he drew a picture of this particular incident. And he brought that picture to Srila Prabhupada of Krishna lifting Govardhan. As soon as Prabhupada saw, Prabhupada began to laugh. And everyone is worried, why Srila Prabhupada is so laughing? And then Prabhupada said, my dear son, or my dear sir, what have you drawn? So what he had drawn Krishna, with a 6-pack belly, big chest, and the big biceps in his arms. He was looking like a bodybuilder. And Prabhupada said, Hare, Krishna did not have to have muscles or 6-pack belly to be able to show his prowess. The same Krishna was 125, not 125, he was 89-year-old when he was there on the battlefield along with Pandavas. He was still the same, the powerful Supreme Personality of Godhead. Third opulence, which attracts everyone, is fame. Yash. You see a picture behind me of our respected Sachin Tendulkar. Once upon a time, everyone loved him, one of the famous personality. He was a father of the cricket many claimed to be. Now, who talks about Sachin Tendulkar? Where do you see any billboard having photo of Sachin? After Sachin came a trend of Mahendra Singh Dhoni. I believe after that, Virat Kohli. I don't know what's going on today. Prior to Sachin, there was Azharuddin or some other people, Kapil Dev, Sunil Gavaskar, whatnot. I'm just speaking about the cricket fraternity for that reason. You take an example of anything in this world, for how long does our fame stays? Maybe for a few weeks, few months, few years, at most one lifetime, not beyond the second lifetime. When Sachin Tendulkar have to move on from this life to another, who would remember? Where did he go next? Nobody knows about it. So the fame for all of us in this world is temporary and not only limited. And think about Lord Shri Krishna. He stole butter. People began to call him Makanchur, began to compose song, write poetry, and they sing up to today. He ran from the battlefield. He became famous as Ranchor. He danced with the gopis. He became famous as Gopinath. Makanchor. Like that, many, many names Krishnas have got so many names for different pastimes. And even until today, people continue to sing and write glories of Lord Shri Krishna. And the number of devotees of Krishna are growing day by day rather than reducing. There is one person in this creation whose birthday is celebrated with the greatest pomp, where the largest gathering of people come to attend that one person birthday, and that is Krishna Janmashtami, isn't it? Now, at max, your birthday would be celebrated when you're alive, but once you pass away, considering you to be the most famous person, but once a person departs from this world, who celebrates his birthday? Yes or no? Now, even 5,000 years later, Krishna's birthday is celebrated as Krishna Janmashtami. That is called as fame. Never ending, in fact, ever increasing. Fourth opulence of the Lord is beauty, Shriya. Again, the nature of the beauty in this world is when you're young, you're beautiful. When you grow old, then they say old is gold. It's good to encourage, more beautiful. Imagine the most beautiful woman is standing right in front of you. So you may find that woman to be attractive, or the man standing in front of you may find it attractive. But for a lion, it doesn't matter there is an Aishwarya, there is Hema Malini or Sachin Tendulkar. He sees everyone with an equal vision as his breakfast or a lunch. For example, in front of you, imagine the most beautiful Miss Cockroach is walking in front of you. And behind Miss Cockroach, all the Mr. Cockroach are running behind this Miss Cockroach. Would you be by any chance attracted to her? I mean, the Miss Cockroach, I mean to say. So the beauty of a living entity, if even if it is appreciated, is within the same species. Yes or no? That's the point. Look about Krishna. In fact, he is the source of all beauty. Prabhupada disciple, when Prabhupada was walking on the beach, said, Swamiji, look at such a beautiful sunset, sunrise. Prabhupada said, if the picture is so beautiful, how much the painter must be beautiful. Once Srila Prabhupada was on airport, and suddenly Prabhupada looked behind, and one of his very new student who had accompanied Prabhupada that time, he was looking in a different direction, all through 180 degree. And then suddenly Prabhupada tapped on his shoulder and he was shocked. And Prabhupada said, isn't she beautiful? So this boy was looking at a beautiful girl. And this boy was really, really embarrassed that, such a great personality is pointing him out like this. And then Prabhupada said, imagine if she is so beautiful, how beautiful must be the creator of her. So Krishna is the source of all beauty. The Lord is the source of all beauty. But the point is, when Krishna was in Vrindavan, not only the Brajavasis, the monkeys, the cows, the calves, the peacocks, the honeybees, the parrots, you name it, the trees would bow down, the deers, every animal, every creature was attracted by two particular features of the Lord. One, his beauty, and second is his basuri. When Krishna would play his flute, everyone will become restless. Maybe I can tell you one little pastime, assuming I would have time. You see Krishna in the picture, you'll always see Krishna having always adorned with a beautiful peacock feather. Yes? How many of you know of why and how Krishna got this peacock feather? Say yes or no. If you say yes, I will skip the story, how Krishna got the peacock feather. If you don't know, then I'll say it out. So all our previous students, they all are saying yes. And the new one are saying no. Right now, I see the score is matching. I need more people input to make my call. So all the old ones are saying yes. All the new ones are saying no. Okay. Okay. So the no number is increasing now. So I'll tell you the story. A very, very beautiful story. As one afternoon, Krishna is in the forest. Right after his lunch, he begins to play his flute. Generally, after lunch, Krishna would take a nap, then get up, then he'll play his flute, and then all the cows and calves which have entered the forest, as soon as they will hear the flute of Krishna, they'll come back running to Krishna. And listening to the flute, all the gopas who had been sleeping soundly sleeping, they'll also wake up, understanding that now it's time for us to wind up and go back. Or maybe play a sport. But this was post-lunch. So one day Krishna began to play his flute, which was an everyday activity for Krishna to do. By the way, there is another beautiful story of how Krishna got the flute also. So if time will permit, I'll tell you how Krishna got the flute. That itself is a very beautiful story. But let's talk about how Krishna got the peacock feather. He began to play his flute, and suddenly all the peacocks, when they heard the flute of Krishna, generally any creature would listen, the bird, honeybees, anyone would listen to the flute of the Lord, they will come running and they will surround the Lord. So this particular time, the peacocks heard and they rushed faster than anyone else. And they came and they surrounded Krishna and they began to dance in ecstasy, hearing to the beautiful, mesmerizing flute of the Lord. Then the king of the peacock came forward and bowed his head in front of Lord Shri Krishna, and he, with his feathers, indicated Krishna to join them in the dance. Krishna understood, joined the peacocks in the dance. With his left hand, Krishna continued to play his flute, and then he began to dance just like peacocks dancing. Krishna continued to play the flute, Krishna continued to dance. And when all the peacocks saw Krishna's dance, who they never saw before, one by one, all the peacocks began to faint out of ecstasy. They began to fall, 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 and finally the king of the peacocks fell down. And then Krishna, seeing that everyone had become unconscious out of the extreme sense of joy, Krishna started playing flute. Then again, Krishna played another raga through his flute, by which everyone came back to the consciousness. Everyone was sweating, their eyes were filled with tears out of their joy. And the king of the peacock went to Krishna, put his beak or put his face on the feet of Lord Shri Krishna with tears, bathing the feet of Lord Shri Krishna with the tears. He said, "My dear Lord, we are just a simple animals or the creatures of the jungle. What can we give you in return for what all you have done for us? You have made our life, you have made our birth the most successful of all. Please allow us to serve you. The only possession as a peacock that we have is the peacock feather. We want to gift you this peacock feather. If you may so desire, you may adorn your beautiful form with this peacock feather." And look at the gratitude of Lord Shri Krishna. Just because Krishna wanted to please the peacocks, Krishna accepted the peacock feather. And since then, for forever, Krishna is always there with the peacock feather. Shri Krishna Bhagavan ki Jai. So this is just one story. Next time, I'll give you the story of how Krishna got the flute. A very beautiful lesson there. So beauty, that's a point about beauty. Just like Rukmini, Mother Rukmini is said to be the most beautiful woman of all time. And she wrote a letter to Krishna telling Krishna to kidnap her, because she was so attracted to Krishna that way. Let's talk about the fifth opulence of God, knowledge. Knowledge also attracts. And to acquire knowledge, we have to work very hard. And those who have knowledge makes a person very attractive. Think about the knowledge in terms of what Krishna says. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Vedaischa sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta krit veda vedeva chaham. Krishna tells Arjuna, Arjuna, I am the source of all the knowledge, which means of Vedas. And the aim of the Vedas is to know me. And the wisdom that Krishna spoke impromptu, spontaneously at the battlefield of Kurukshetra, known as Bhagavad Gita, is studied by the best of the scholars, and they still are trying to figure out what's the message in it. There's such a depth of wisdom given in it. Now, Arjuna had not given a two-day notice, or Arjuna had not WhatsApped him the invitation or saying that, Arjuna or Krishna, 2 days from now, on the day of the battlefield, you have an introductory talk for 45 minutes. So be prepared with your speech and consciously speak, because for the rest of eternity, people are going to talk about your speech. Not at all. Okay, Sneha Paul writes some interesting facet to the story that we discussed. Okay, Sneha, we can take your comments at the end about Radharani asking Krishna to accept the peacock feather. Well, wherever Krishna is, Radharani is there. There could definitely be this, additional of the pastime. Okay, so coming back to the knowledge, and Krishna says to Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, verse number 2, Jnanam teham savijnanam idam vakshyami asheshatah yajnanatvaneha bhuyo nyaj jnanatvayam avashishyate. Arjuna, I shall now declare to you full this knowledge, both phenomenal and numinous, both of the material world and the spiritual world, knowing after which nothing remains for you to know anymore. That is what Krishna speaks. Knowledge, complete knowledge, Krishna. Sixth opulence of God, renunciation. It is but natural for anyone to become attached with their opulences. Somebody has wealth, somebody has strength, somebody has beauty, somebody has knowledge. It's but natural. Person becomes arrogant, haughty, proud of their possession, isn't it? And these things makes a person generally disrespectful and ungrateful. Yes or no? Somebody is very rich, somebody is very famous, somebody is very beautiful. Pride is a subset of it. And who is proud? Bound to be ungrateful. Do you all agree? Yes or no? Or you're still thinking? If you're still thinking, say thinking. So I get to know what's going on. So you all agree, yes. Now, Krishna, he is a father, aham sarvasya Prabhu, of this whole creation. Yet Krishna says to living entities, go, I give you this world, do whatever you want. You do good actions, you reap the benefits. You do bad actions, you reap the results of it. I would only provide you facilities, but I am not responsible for it. Do whatever you want. Not only this, look at that Krishna, the Supreme Father of all, became a charioteer. Such a menial service, became a charioteer for Arjuna. Now, what it means to be a charioteer in a battle? Now, being a charioteer means the king sitting on the chariot, he cannot speak to the charioteer because when the war is going on, there are constant war cries. The charioteer cannot hear what the king is saying, which direction to move. So it is explained, if the king wants a charioteer to move on the left, then the king would hit the shoulder of the charioteer with his feet. If he wants the person to move on the right, he will again hit the shoulder, right shoulder. Can you imagine? I'm not sure if Arjuna did that, probably not. But if Arjuna had to, Arjuna would have to kick Krishna and the Supreme Personality Godhead accepting such a menial role. Who can be more renounced than Krishna? Sudama the Vipra, his childhood friend of Lord Shri Krishna, when came to meet Krishna at Dwarka, he was a pauper, real pauper, torn out clothes. When he came, Krishna embraced him, brought him directly into his private chambers, put him on the bedstead, and asked Rukmani and others to bring a pot to wash the feet of Sudama, who is what? No one. No one knows him. He's so poor. If you're poor, anyways, you have no value in the society. Nobody knew him. And Lord Shri Krishna, with his own hands, washed the feet of this Brahmana. Sudama was crying, why are you doing Krishna like this? And Krishna said, you are Brahmana and I'm in the role of a Kshatriya. You are worshipable for Kshatriya. Therefore, I'm rendering service unto you to purify myself. Who can be more renounced than the Lord? Not only this, Krishna proves he is Supreme Lord not once, not twice, many times. When he was young boy, Balramji, the other Gopas and Krishna and Balaram were playing, and Krishna would become sometime haughty, determined. This is how it has to happen. The Gopas got upset. Krishna is lying, Krishna is cheating, we win the game, but Krishna is cheating. So they were fighting like the kids fight with each other, and the Gopas, So at that point of time, Krishna took some mud from the ground and ate it. And the Gopas complained to Balram, Balram, see, Krishna have eaten the mud again. Mother Yashoda should chastise, must chastise. If we go and tell Mother Yashoda would not believe, Balramji, you go. Balramji went running to Mother Yashoda. Mother Yashoda came out. Krishna, you have eaten mud again? Krishna said, no, Mama, I did not. Do you think your brother is going to speak a lie? Balramji is going to speak a lie? Dauji is going to speak a lie? Krishna said, Mama, Mata, my brother is upset from me because he lost. So he's lying. So Mata said, no, how can your brother lie? Then Krishna said, well, Mata Shri, if you don't believe, you can look in my mouth. So when Krishna said like this, he thought, because I'm saying that you can look into my mouth, then mother will say, okay, all right, which means you have not eaten much. Fine. However, it did not happen like this this time. As Krishna said, Matashi, you can even open my mouth and see if I've eaten mud. If I've eaten mud, there should be some particles. When Krishna said like this, Mother Yashoda paused. And then she said, yes, in fact, that's a good point. I should definitely look into your mouth. And Krishna began to sweat. Oh my goodness, what happened? I have eaten mud. There's whole mud in my mouth. I'll be caught. And then Mother Yashoda asked Krishna to open his mouth. Krishna opened his mouth. And what Krishna showed Mother Yashoda made her faint. Krishna showed the whole universe within the mouth, within his own mouth, and finally showed Yashoda as if Yashoda himself is seeing herself seeing in the mouth of Krishna. In other words, Krishna proved that the whole universe lies in his own existence. Krishna proved he's the Supreme Lord again. We're going to talk about this whole subject matter in the next series of discussion called as Gita Essence, chapter 11, dedicated for Virat Roop, where Krishna showed his universal form to Arjuna. I would let this discussion more for the 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So that's how Bhagavan definition have 6 features, and Krishna fulfills all of these features in full. And apart from that, we give you some of the evidences which proves Krishna is supreme. If Krishna is supreme, then what about others? Is the next obvious question that comes. So, well, in scriptures, there are 4 tattvas. Tattva means truth. Tattva means truth. Vishnu Tattva, Shakti Tattva, Jiva Tattva, Shambhu Tattva. So Lord eternally exists in these four manifestations. Let's take a look of Vishnu Tattva. What is Vishnu Tattva? Krishna expands himself into Vishnu. How many Vishnus are there? Anyone knows? Let me give an answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's your pick? How many Vishnus are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or unlimited? Okay. Okay. Okay, interesting. Nobody's saying one, huh? Generally, people think there is only one Vishnu. There are three Vishnus. So Krishna expands into three, and this is explained in Narada Pancharatra. I'll skip quoting this verse now, but it's explained that Vishnu expands in Trini Rupani. And what are these three rupas of Vishnu? Now, first of all, why Krishna expand himself in the form of a Vishnu? Krishna, the Supreme Personality Godhead, is always enjoying. Just like you see him on the altar, so blissfully smiling, holding a flute in a dancing posture. And same Krishna, when he has to manage the universal affairs, manage the lives of the living entities because everything depends on him, then that Krishna takes the form of takes the role of an administrative or administrator. And then Krishna expands himself into Vishnu. So Vishnu is a universal administrator. And this Vishnu exists in three levels. One is Mahavishnu, Garbhadakshay, and Kshirodakshay Vishnu, which I would explain in a short while. This is all mentioned in Narada Pancharatra. Let me just very briefly tell you how this whole creation happens. Not the creation, but how did all the expansion happens briefly. First is the original personality of Godhead called Bhagavan, that is Krishna. Et chamsa kalha pumsa Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. This is the verdict of Shastras. Krishna hi Bhagavan hai. Krishna first manifests, expands himself as Balaram. Balaram expands himself in the first Chaturvyu incarnation of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh. Then there is Narayan expansion, and then there is a second Chaturvyu incarnation of Vasudev, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, and Anirudh. And from there comes Mahavishnu. From that comes another Narayan, and from that Narayan comes Mahavishnu. This Mahavishnu, from his body, manifests all the different universes, material creations. And then this Mahavishnu enters into each of this universe as Garbhodakshay Vishnu. Universe is described as oval-shaped, where half of the universe is filled with Garbhodak water or Garbhodak ocean, and half is filled with the planetary system. And in this Garbhodak water, Garbhodakshay Vishnu is residing on the or lying on the body of Anashesh, where Mother Lakshmi is seen or shown generally massaging the feet of the Lord. And from the Garbha or the belly comes from the navel manifest a lotus, and on the lotus, on the top of the lotus appears Brahma. That is how Brahma appears. And now Brahma appears. Now it leads to the creation of the universe. Now he's like Brahma and Vishnu in this connection is like Vishnu is like the owner of a building firm, architecture firm. What do we call it? Building firm, right? Like Pranjape, what do we call him? Builder, right? The building firm or something. And Brahma is like a construction manager, which the builder hires to construct a building, and where the construction manager ensures that everything happens. So Brahma is in that role. Now Garbhodaksha Vishnu expands himself as Paramatma, and he enters into this universe, into every aspect of universe, even up to the atoms. And through that creation, the forms of the living entities, different matter, combination of matter, everything begins to happen because of Paramatma. And that's how the Jiva manifests. This is how the whole process of creation takes place. So this is Krishna and Vishnu, the relationship. Next is Shakti Tattva. Shakti Tattva refers to the feminine aspect of the Lord, which is almost equivalent, which is equivalent to the Lord, not different than the Lord. Therefore, we always refer to Lord never alone, but Radha Krishna, Sita Ram, Lakshmi Narayan, like that. So that's about Shakti Tattva. Then Shambhu Tattva is a unique Tattva, which is neither Vishnu Tattva nor Shakti Tattva, but has its own existence. An example given in the scripture is it is Krishna expanding into Shambhu, just like milk getting transformed into yogurt. In fact, Brahma speaks about it in his Brahma Samhita. So, yogurt comes from milk, but milk cannot be recovered back, or yogurt cannot be transformed back into milk. That's the point. So, the cause of Shiva is Vishnu or Krishna. And then lastly comes Jiva Tattva, which includes all of us. Jiva Tattva not only includes all of us, all the animals, birds, beasts, and all the devatas on this 14 planetary system that we have. So we'll speak a short while about this devatas also. In essence, Jiva Tattva and Vishnu Tattva. Again, this is a subject matter discussed at length in Bhagavad Gita. We'll be doing more detailed discussion of it when we take to our Gita Essence program. But just to let you know here, Lord is compared to ocean, then Jiva is compared to the drop of an ocean. If Lord is compared to a fire, then Jiva can be compared to a spark. That is a relationship, which means in quality, we are one, but in quantity, we are infinitesimal. Just a drop of water has the same quality as ocean water, but in quantity is infinitesimal. So these are the four tattva: Vishnu, Shakti, Shambhu, and Jiva Tattva. So question comes, if Krishna is one God, then who are the devatas? Who are the devatas? Devatas refers to the jivatmas who are provided with a very powerful body. Just like, in a company, you have a finance head. When you have a certain responsibility, with those responsibility comes certain privileges. You may be provided a car, you may be provided a separate office, maybe the company may be paying the rent of your house, education loan, and whatnot. So are given additional facility for that person to do his job better. That is what devatas are. But at the end of the day, they are also jivatma. To give you an example, simple example, any administrative structure of a company would have CEO as the owner, or the owner, if you want to call it owner, and under him there will be different heads managing different departments. Yes, sales, marketing, country head, research head, and whatnot, technical head, and everything. Now look about this whole universe. Who's managing this universe, keeping the planets in their own orbits, making sure the sun rises every day and sunset happens every day? So much so you can before the sunrise happen, you can predict the sunrise and the sunset. Isn't that amazing? Who is ensuring that? We have this law of gravity. Who is ensuring this? Who is ensuring that we have oxygen to breathe, the water to breathe, water to drink, and food to eat? Who is ensuring all the facilities for our sustenance? Who is providing? Ultimately is the Lord. But Lord have his representatives to manage the universal affairs, who are called as devatas. Let's take a look. So if I ask you, who is the electricity minister of the universe? And the answer is sun god Surya. Isn't it? He provides electricity, the sunlight, administrative structure of the universe. Who is the construction minister? That is Brahma. As I already gave an example of relationship between Brahma and Vishnu. Who is the water minister? Is Varuna. Who is the water distribution minister? Is Indra. So you all have to be very quick, okay? This is like what they call as rapid fire round. You have to be tuned to your chat so you can type in quickly. Who is the power minister in the universal affair? Power minister, Agni. Who is the wind minister? The wind minister is Vayu, no doubt about it. Who is the home minister? Who ensures the law and order is maintained, otherwise punishes? Durga. Who is the defense minister? Who protects the God, who protects the world? Kartikeya, the son of Lord Shiva. Who is the education minister? A female minister. In the universal affairs also we have female representation, Saraswati. Human resource minister. This is very interesting. you'll get definitely a prize for me if you give me an answer. Oh, interesting, huh? So who is a human resource minister? If you're ever shortfall of human resource, you can write an application to this minister to provide you some human resources. That is none other than Yamaraj. Yamaraj is a human resource minister. Placement officer. Who is the grievance minister? जीवन में किसी के कोई कष्ट आता है तो हम पहुंचते हैं गणेश जी के पास. Removal of all obstacles. Who is the finance minister? Is Kuber, the treasurer of Devatas. The mental health minister, Chandra. Like this, we have all these different roles and responsibilities tackled by different Devatas. That's the point. So these are the different Devatas who are nothing but Jivatmas like us, who are qualified, much qualified than who we are. Just like in a company, there is a vice president who is probably more qualified than a software engineer. That's the reason he's on that role. That's the point. Now, a second question. Is it diminishing to address these great beings as demigods or little gods? Why do we call them demigods? They should be called as supreme God. Is it diminishing? Is it insulting? Let's say for example, in every administrative structure, there is a role of president, and then there is a vice president. There's a role of general manager, and there is a role of assistant general manager. Is the position and address of vice president, assistant general manager, is it diminishing? Is it insulting by any chance? Not at all. Is it glorifying? It's our misunderstanding to think that it is an insult. No, not at all. So what is the difference between the Supreme Lord and the Devatas? In essence, Lord is one, Devatas are in huge population. Lord, for eternally the same Supreme Personality, Devata's position is temporary. Criteria, residence. Lord lives in the spiritual world, where Devatas lives in the heavenly planets. Activity of the Lord is always enjoying, love and serve. Devatas have administrative work to do. Body is eternal, and for the Devatas is temporary because they also have a birth and death. Can anyone become Supreme Lord? Of course not. These are just misnomer, misunderstanding promoted by some spiritual gurus. You do this yoga asana, you do this mantra meditation, and you'll become God. That never happens. Supreme Lord is always one. You can become a Devata, and there is a whole yagyas and pious credit and pious life you'll have to live. And then you can qualify to become Devata, because Devata is also Jivatma. Devata is not a Supreme Lord. There's a difference. So let's take some FAQs between Krishna and Devatas. And with that, we'll come to the conclusion of today's topic. What is the difference between worshipping Krishna and Devatas? Worship, we're talking about the worship. This is all given in Bhagavad Gita about the subject matter of Devatas and Krishna. So Krishna gives us what we need. Devata give us what we demand. For example, a young boy goes to his father and says, Father, I need 10 rupees. Father asks, why do you need 10 rupees? And he says, Father, I want to buy a smoke. Father will give him a tight slap on his face, yes or no? Whereas if the same boy goes to the shop owner and he says, take this 10 rupees, give me a cigarette, a pack of cigarette or one cigarette, whatever you get it for 10 rupees. And the shop owner will say, yes, here it is. You got the point? The parent and a shop owner. That's the point. Krishna is our loving father. He doesn't want to give us that causes harm to us. Whereas for a shop owner, it's a give and take relationship. Second, only Krishna can award liberation. Devatas cannot do the same. It's not given to them. The right and the power is not given to them. So difference between Krishna and Devata. The motive of worship for Krishna is love and service. For Devatas is material desires, like Ravana, Hiranyakashipu. They always wanted to worship Brahma to gain powers. And then after that had nothing to do with this, their worship to Brahma and others. What they grant, Krishna gives what we need. Devatas give what we want. Blessings are eternal and temporary. Then question comes, why demigod worship is recommended in the scriptures? Why is demigod worship recommended in the scriptures? Yes, demigod worship is recommended in the scriptures. The reason is because not everyone is looking forward to develop loving relationship with the Lord. There are many large portion of population only wants to facilitate and improve their living condition of the present life. They just want their material desires to be fulfilled. And therefore, for that reason, they approach devatas. So in scriptures, the devata worship or the demigod worship is recommended. At least let them understand that there are some higher power. Let them at least get this understanding that they're not the controller, proprietor, and enjoy. They're higher powers who facilitate, which is a fact. At least let them become a little cultured. Is demigod worship condemned in the scriptures? Not at all. In Bhagavad Gita itself, Lord Shri Krishna in 3rd chapter establishes the demigod worship, where Krishna says, I have created the world in a way where the devatas and jivas can live together with a mutual interdependence. When we perform sacrifice for them, they gain strength. And when they get strength, they fulfill our desires. That's a symbiotic relationship created by Krishna for harmonious relationship and progressive life between devatas and humans. Fifth, can I approach Krishna if I have material desires? Yes, Krishna says about in 7th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 kinds of pious living beings. Chaturvida bhajante mam janasukritan arjuna. Artho arthati jigyasu jnani cha bharata sarva. Artho, distress, arthati, desire for wealth. Jigyasu, curious, jnani, one who's searching for me. These 4 varieties of people come to me. Yes, even if you have material desire, still go to Krishna. Would the demigods get angry and punish me if I divert my attention to serving Krishna? Not at all. Just like you have a huge tree which have hundreds of branches, and each branch is loaded with number of leaves and the fruits. Now, if you want to serve a fruit, what is the best means of serving the fruit or nourishing the fruit? The best way is to water the root of the tree. Automatically, the whole tree would get nourished. Similarly, Krishna is the root of the whole creation. He is the cause of all causes. If we serve him, everyone becomes delighted and pleased. Therefore, Krishna in 5th chapter says of Bhagavad Gita, the devotee is loved by one and all. Why? Because of his service to the Krishna, everyone naturally loves him because now that person has become dear to Krishna. And there are many, many stories about it. Considering the time, I'm just skipping that. So coming to the conclusion of this discussion, the whole process of Krishna consciousness once for all resolves all the contradictions that a person carries in his mind. Now we have understood the 4 tattvas, what is Vishnu, what is Jiva, what is Shambhu, what is Shakti tattvas. There's no confusion remaining. Otherwise, it continues to remain, prevailing confusion forever. Whom do I worship? There's so many devtas. Who is that Supreme Lord and whatnot? And not only this, the subject matter reconciles and establishes that Hinduism is actually monotheistic, not polytheistic, which Abrahamic faith complains or find fault with Vedic scripture to be polytheistic. Vedic scripture is not polytheistic. Vedic scripture only is monotheistic, promotes monotheism, worship of one Supreme Lord. Bhagavad Gita talks about monotheism, not polytheism. Krishna established through the message of Bhagavad Gita that there is only one Supreme Father like that. So this message of Bhagavad Gita is so vital and important. If one understands, it naturally harmonizes the people across the races, across the species, because now we know we are part and parcel of one Supreme Father and Mother. And we all are his loving part and parcel. And we all are connected with each other through this eternal relationship. Then why we unnecessarily fight being a Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Isai, and whatnot? Why do we fight on the concept of black and white? Why do we fight on the basis of gender issues? Because this life that we have got is such a fraction in the frame of eternity. When you look out of the box and when you see yourself, this life that you have with this body, with this vehicle, it's just a short span in the eternity. And in this short span, we unnecessarily destroy our life by getting caught up into so many temporary, inconsequential, insignificant subject matters like racism, gender discrimination, caste, creed discrimination, etc., which are all pertaining to the body type, the vehicle type. So in the end, Bhagavad Gita resolves. This is not the conclusion of Gita wisdom. This is just a major portion have been covered. And the message of Bhagavad Gita is that all of us should connect, build our relationship with the Lord through the process of chanting Hare Krishna. So here I'll request all of us to chant along with me once. Hare Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare
Rama
Rama,
Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare.
So when we meet tomorrow and day after tomorrow, we'll be meeting for this last topic. Title as Why Do Good Things Happen to Bad People? Uh-oh, I read it again wrong. I'm going to say why do bad things happen to good people? That's the subject matter of interest, which we will be discussing tomorrow, day after tomorrow, and 3 subject matters will be discussed in that. What is this material world? What is Kal? And what is Karma? And then with that, we'll come to the conclusion of this Gita Wisdom series. I sincerely thank you all for joining us for this journey. And we are on the last leg, the final part of our journey, which will begin tomorrow. Hare Krishna. I will revert back to our host if there are any questions or any announcement. In case if you have an announcement, Mother Dipasha, you can. Otherwise, I would like to just quickly interact with the audience. If that can be facilitated. You have any announcement right now?
No major announcement, Prabhuji. We have questions, many. And today, all of our YouTube users, they have mentioned that from which place they are. So I'm glad that they are from all over India as well as across the world also.
Oh, so you had asked that question.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, well, we'll take your questions quickly. Now, because we're coming almost on the final leg of our program, at least as a speaker, I want to see who are the audience and where are the audience from. So at least get to know. Sai Sat was with his both hands up. Okay, great. So can we just close this window, chat window, and you can expand the size of this so I can see the bigger thing. So I have a quick question for all of you. You see the arrow there on the chat, a small tiny arrow right next to chat on the top, on the left. Thank you. So how many of you, if your cameras are on, have a copy of Bhagavad Gita with them? Raise your hands high up. Okay, great. Oh, Mukundan family, Anirudh and Prahlad, both of them and his father. Hare Krishna. Good to see you all. Okay, who all have? Okay, the kids are raising their hands up. I don't know who all have. Okay, how many of you have read Bhagavad Gita? Okay, now लोगों के हाथ थोड़े डरते डरते हट उठ रहे हैं. If hand is up to here, which means we have read only 6 chapters. Up to here, maybe 9 chapters. Both the hands up, maybe 18 chapters. Okay. How many of you say that you have understood Bhagavad Gita? Prabhu, I got it straight. I am the dawn of Bhagavad Gita now, which means devotee of Lord Narayan, by the way. And I'm the dawn of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, so I would definitely encourage you all to join us for this Gita Essence program. Within 18 days, we hope to finish this whole 18 chapters. And of course, it's not a detailed discussion. I might start a comprehensive study program after or in 2021, where we may go into in depth of Bhagavad Gita. However, at least in case if that doesn't happen or you're not able to join us for the future sessions, at least if you go through those 18 days, it will definitely help you in your own self-study of Bhagavad Gita. You'll get a high-level overview and will definitely help you understand. And we have had previous students here also, those who joined us for our Gita Essence program, which I just did 2 weeks ago before starting this batch. So, that's the point. So, all right. So, we can have some questions. And I also wanted to just see who they are, where are they from. Just one thing. If you're short of time, you can just type in your name and on the chat box where they are from. Or if they would like to speak, you can just unmute and speak. By the way, regarding question answer, on the 8th evening, I'm planning to have one dedicated session only for question answer. So whatever questions you have to talk, you can always speak on the 8th evening, if in case they are remaining. Sneha Paul from Meghalaya. Oh, that's our Novaji's sister. Okay, Sneha Paul, okay. Right, so people are typing in. When you're typing in, but how would I know? Fine. If somebody wants to say out their name and say where they're from, that's also fine with me.
Prabhuji, shall I do the needful?
If you do the needful, you read out, I would not know who they are inside.
Okay.
Do they have the right to unmute themselves?
Yes. Oh no, I need to allow. I'll allow. Yeah,
If somebody wants to
Hare
speak,
Krishna.
yeah, they can unmute Prabhuji.
Srirang, I know your even home address. That's all right. You don't have to tell where you are. You have been connected with me long enough now. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. In the meantime, Dipash, you want to start with question answer? We may.
Yeah, Prabhuji. Just quickly, I want to update you that from YouTube we have lots of people, and we have Bharat ji from Bahrain, and we have the name was Gopal Krishna ji from Andhra, Vizag, and then Mala ji from Palghar, Maharashtra, Balakrishnan ji from Bangalore, Santosh Kumar ji from Hyderabad, Nitai Karunadas ji from Mayapur Dham, Rita Singh ji from Kolkata, and Mridul Pukhanji from Guwahati. So these people have put their names mentioned in the YouTube.
Okay.
And now I'm coming back to the questions. So there was one question by Shantanu Kaushik ji. He's from Mumbai. And Prabhuji was online. Yeah, he's online also. And he has asked that why our gods and goddess have multiple heads, multiple hands, or weapon. In general, when we look at the other religion, we don't see such thing. Shantanu Kaushik ji, if you want, you can unmute yourself also.
So
Hare
that's
Krishna
your
Prabhu
question
ji.
precisely, right, Shantanu?
Ji Prabhu ji.
So let's talk about the other religion first. If you study any scriptural text, maybe Quran, Bible, Torah, whatnot, they don't have much description of who God is, what's the form of the God. Now, that's not the fault of the messenger. It's not the Prophet Muhammad didn't knew that or Jesus didn't knew that. It's just the audience was not ready. We already saw that yesterday. The audience could not accept the more wisdom. So they revealed whatever was acceptable or could have been acknowledged by the audience. And we do the same thing. At this point of time, I'm sharing what all I can share for you to be able to digest. We're not going too much of the complexity of the technicalities of the philosophy in that way. Now, when you come back to the personalities, see, Vedic scripture is just like when you purchase a washing machine, it comes with a manual. So Vedic scripture is a manual for this whole creation, which describes everything about what happens in this creation. Now, this creation is huge and humongous, and there are all kinds of living entities. Even among human beings, there are 400,000 varieties of human beings. Now, what is this 400,000 varieties of human beings refers to is also in the differences in physical well-being, or not the physical well-being, in the physical form, and also on the level of consciousness. There's ghosts, pretas, the rakshasas, daityas, devatas, gandharvas, kinnaras. These all varieties of are humans in different forms. So some may have a two hands, some may have two heads, some may have these varieties, and all options are there. All options are. To give you a simple example, this whole creation has been created just to facilitate all our desires. We should be very clear with that. And to have that, Lord created 8.4 million species. Now imagine Shantanu Kaushik is a senior, let's say, a technical head for some technical firm. Let's say for Symantec, for example. You're a technical head. Now there is so much competition, so much pressure. You may have a big team with you. Now you have so much to do, so much research to be done. You might wonder sometime, wish I had four heads. So that's how Brahma came into existence. you know, so you get the point, huh? There is a need for different aspect of activity. Now, those who are mechanical workers working with their hands, they may wonder, wish I would have had four extra hands. I could have facilitated my job more. All right, you have Durga Devi with 12 hands. So all forms, combinations are available. That's the whole point. Okay, Shantanu?
Okay. Thank you,
See,
Prabhu.
one thing, when it comes to Lord, you cannot limit. If the Lord and Lord's creation can be limited, then Lord cannot be unlimited.
True, Prabhuji.
That's the point. Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Hari Hari.
Prabhuji, there is one question by Pooja ji. I'm not sure from where she is. Pooja ji, if you want to unmute or open your video. So she is asking that which scriptures talks about demigod? Because she has been told that only ISKCON talks about demigods. It's a very interesting question. That's why I really want you to take it.
See, Bhagavad Gita, are you there, Pooja? At least so I, go into details.
Yes,
Okay.
Prabhuji, I'm
Okay, you're there. Great. See, at least Bhagavad Gita talks about it. And we're going to discuss at length in Bhagavad Gita. There's a discussion in third chapter. Then there's a third chapter introduces the subject. There's a discussion in the seventh chapter. Then there's a discussion in the ninth chapter. And I believe there is a discussion at the concluding verses of 12th chapter also, where Krishna talks about it, about Devatas. Now, what happens with ISKCON, we speak out little too much about devtas because we need to establish who is the supreme lord. See, if you go outside anywhere for that reason, tell me, if you go out in any spiritual organization, does anyone tell you the clear purpose of human form of life, or there is hodgepodge only, there is just word jugglery? Think about it. Even I guess I was speaking to this forum or the Hindi forum, where I grew up. Every part of India is like that. You will have a nice temple nearby, and you go into the temple, and there are all the deities there. Everyone. You ask Pandit, by kaun? Sab saman hai, sab devtas hai. It's against logic. How is it ever possible? And I already gave you a logical presentation. In fact, we quoted shlokas also from Narad, Pancharatna, and other places about for that purpose. So that's the point. Second thing, there is two different paths of spiritualism. There are different parts of a path, but let's focus on two. One, who established the Lord has a form. The one establishes Lord does not have a form. That particularly subset of it is called Mayavad. What is the Mayavad part of aspect, which is prominent spiritual? I would say most of the spiritual cultures prominently follow this Mayavad understanding. According to them, you are God, I am God, everyone is God. Therefore, there is no difference between Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, Durga, or Saraswati, Parvati, Lakshmi, Radharani, Rukmani. There is no difference between anyone. This whole world is false. When you die, then you go back and merge into Brahman. And that Brahman is the source of all the living entities, everything. And when you become one with Brahman, then you also become the supreme. And according to them, there is no one supreme. All of us are supreme. That's the point. There's a reason. There is a whole confusion about it when you discuss about the subject matter elsewhere. Anything else to add to or clarify on this, Pooja? It's actually a very important question.
No, Prabhuji, I think this is very clear. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, there is one quick question, and thereafter Anushri Mataji wants to have a question. So first I'll take that question because that is by Sai Shashwat, and already 3 times he has posted that question, so I have to take it. So he's asking.
I saw that question, but I was kind of surprised Sai asking that question. He's too young to ask such a question.
Yes. So does Bhagavad Gita contains any solution for negative thinking? So
Yeah, I mean, I cannot give an answer for such a question to such a young boy. I don't know if is Sai, are you asking or are your parents asking this? Because even if I have to give you an answer, there's nothing that you can do at being a 6-year-old boy. Okay. But if you're just asking for a question that Bhagavad Gita tells something about negative thinking, how to overcome negative thinking, that was precisely the question. Dipasha, is that so?
Prabhuji, it should be.
Okay. So yes, that's correct. How to do it for yourself? Stay connected. We have what we call as a Bhakti school also for kids. We restarting and relaunching it in 2021. I had to pause it because of this marathon. You have all these kids. Where are they? Jagannath, Adi Lakshman, Srirang, our Anirudh, Pradyumna, and all of those, many of them. You can be part of the forum, and where we can discuss more on these things. Okay, Sai? Your question was a very mature question, actually. So as a child, you should be having a happy living. Where can be a concept of a negative thinking at such a young age? Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, Anushri Mataji is having a question, so I'll ask her to unmute. Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes, please.
First of all, really very thankful the way you actually tell the stories, and the humor inside it, and the way actually today whole day I was listening to your previous messages, preachings, and I was like, I don't know. I mean, I think 4 hours continuously I listened to them and I was not bored. Jabki the
Oh my
fact is,
goodness. You have already
yeah.
liberated if you could tolerate me for 4 hours.
No. This is really. I mean, I was speaking to my husband. I was like, I really want to touch this man's feet. It was like this. So, thank you for this. And now my question is, see, I want to know the fact about astrology. Is it really a fact? Is it really a true thing? And second, yeah. First, I'll ask this, and then a related thing, on that. So,
Yes, that's the answer. It's a Vedic science. It's factual.
okay. So, Prabhuji, if it's a fact, and then the people say that the astrologers generally say that for example, Shani is not, going good. You should do this puja and that puja. As far as I know from all these teaching, all the pains which we are having is all about the past karmas. So, if we are doing that pujas related to Shani Dev or any other devtas related to the planet which is not doing good in our side, then actually are we doing the right thing? We are actually not cutting our karmas in that way. So are we doing the right thing? I mean, I'm just confused on this thing actually.
Let me again see what happens. What I've seen these days, oftentimes we're not clear with the terminologies. What does astrology means, first of all? The modern history, modern time. Mother Dipasha, you probably need to see somebody is unmuted. You're on unmute. Oh, sorry, mute. There's a background noise.
Ji, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So astrology, for the modern time, the founder is Bhaskaracharya, who wrote Surya Siddhanta. Details excluded. Astrology means to understand how time functions and in what time, what activity to be done. So do we get the maximum result? Like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he was expert in Surya Siddhanta or in astrology. And in his life, although being the purest of the devotee, he always followed this aspect of time management, where he would always plan out according to astrology. What time I should do what time should I eat, what time should I start a new set of program, an event, and all that. So that's how, in this particular time, this is the best what we can do. This is not an auspicious time. To be precise, inauspicious time to do or not to do. That's the point. Only very partly, let's say 5% of this astrology focuses on future telling. How your horoscope looks like, what you would be in future, and all that. And along with astrology, where we are kind of mixing things with horoscope now, where they look at our chart and they tell आपकी शनि की दशा, आपकी ये दशा and वो दशा, ये सब खराब है. आधी से ज्यादा दशा तो हमारी तब खराब हो जाती है जब हम ऐसे एस्ट्रोलॉजर के पास जाते हैं. वो अच्छी खासी दशा को खराब करने के लिए बैठे हैं. I'll tell you how their marketing thing functions. I don't want to go in details, but I come from a background where I dealt with astrology a little too much. So, we came from a religious background. We had a family astrologer for most part of my life. So I know, pretty closely. Of course, they were all very great people, good people. But in general, any astrologer, it's just a marketing strategy. When they would talk to you, when they talk about your horoscope, whatnot, first of all, for a good 3 to 5 minutes, they'll glorify you. And Zoom got closed? No. Hare Krishna. Oh, it's there. Sorry, I lost the screen. What was I saying? For 5 minutes, they'll glorify you. Let's say you're a lady, you say, oh, you are nothing but you are direct manifestation of Lakshmi Devi. you are the most auspicious person in this whole creation. They'll go. If it is about men, oh, you are nothing but you are direct incarnation of Ram. You are Dharma personified. You are the most powerful, most intelligent. They'll glorify you. Then they'll say, but this but is what changes the fortune of the astrologer. It brings and this but increases your Shani effect. And after this but, now the person say, but only this little problem is there. If you allow me to do this so and so puja, I'll fix it. Coming back to the actual answer, as you rightly said, whatever happens in our life is according to the laws of the nature and destiny, which has to be, played out in that sense, because what we have done in the past. So at least in those who are practicing Krishna consciousness or following the culture of bhakti, for them it is more or less strongly prohibited not to do these kind of activities, because just by taking surrender to Krishna or surrendering to Lord, we can get freed from all these things gradually. Now we go and do this puja and things. Yes, they do function, they do work. Of course, we don't know if that astrologer is that qualified. Assuming that not astrologer, it is done by Pandit. Brahmanas do that. If they do that vidhi vidhan, if they are qualified, then they can defer or delay the punishment or the karma that you were supposed to receive now. But they don't have the power to cancel the effect. So when they delay or defer it, then later on you get it with compound interest. That's the reason it is prohibited. It's risky not to do it. So I would say, because I've seen it a lot of these things all through my life and through interacting with people. I really appreciate and love what Srila Prabhupada gave us, a simple straight formula. Just chant Hare Krishna, follow the principles of Dharma, the four-legged principles, be in the association of devotees, chant, read, and hear, and leave the rest on Krishna to take care and be progressive. Don't get caught up with these astrologers, tantrics, and whatnot. They just cause mayhem in our life. Of course, I would just put one last disclaimer to it. Exceptions are always there to every rule. It is not that we don't consult astrologers, we also do it. I also recommend some students, depending on their situation, ground reality. But of course, these things should be taken in due consideration. If you have the opportunity to work under guidance of some mature person, then it's good to do it. But in general, it's not needed, because people can really fool us out. Anything, Anushri? I guess they don't have the right.
Anushri Mataji, you can unmute yourself.
Prabhuji, same goes with the Vastu and all. Is it like that?
Say that again. Same goes with?
Same thing goes with Vastu Shastras and all that. Is it like that?
No, Vastu Shastra is another science. Of course, see, Vastu Shastra means any science means is about the person. Is the person qualified or not? But Vastu Shastra is again a proper science, which tells you how to align your house and the things in the house. That makes that's doable. That's not a problem. That's a different thing. I just like to give you a simple example. Can we close the chat? Just interruption. Just to give you a simple example, let's say you're walking through a market, and it's a whole meat shop market. The meat, flesh is being distributed out there. When you walk through with that area, by default, you would develop a foul smell, because you walk through that area. Your body will get covered with the foul smell. You will have the foul smell. Even when you walk out of that area, you will feel disgusted about it. Yes or no? Now, that is not something you say because the karma played out and all that. Well, if you have chosen not to go from that place to another place, things would have worked out. You could have reached your destination. That's the meaning of Vastu Shastra in that way. Of course, karma has its role play into it, which means not everyone would want to take a help of a Vastu Shastri to help get your things fixed. When it comes to one's intelligence, then he may get the right Vastu Shastri also. So yes, karma has its own role play into it in that way. But Vastu Shastra is again a bona fide science, and there is not too much risk into it if you know the person is a genuine person.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, we have some hands raised, so can we take their questions? One is by Sarita Mataji and another is by Akriti.
I don't see any hands, so you have to facilitate, or they can do it themselves.
Yes. Yeah, Sarita Mataji, shall I unmute you? You can unmute yourself. If you have any question, you can ask. I'm unable to get any response. So, Akriti, do you have any question? Shall I unmute you? You can unmute yourself.
If we're running late, then I can ask later. That's completely fine.
Sorry,
I-
I didn't get you. You are again on mute. Please unmute. Yeah.
Okay, unmute.
If we're running late, then I can ask next time. That's okay.
I leave that on to you to decide. Fine. It's up to you. Is there anyone else?
No, Prabhuji. There were quick questions by Harsh, like what is the difference between Brahma and Vishwakarma? And is there any difference between Mahalakshmi and Lakshmi ji? Or they are same?
I think, as far as I know, I only know of Mahalakshmi brand masala. I don't know any Lakshmi difference. I'm not aware of it. Okay, I can address Harsh questions separately. He would ping me later on, anyways.
Ji,
Fine.
Prabhu.
So thank you all, and we'll meet tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for joining today's session. If you have any questions pending, you can ping us and we'll try to send it to Prabhuji and we'll send back the responses. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.